This is what I have to do every day, because my school doesn't have air conditioning.
That's just one of the many videos we have received this past October during California's 2017 heat wave. These students have complained to both their districts and their teachers individually about the cooling issues within their classrooms, yet have not seen many improvements since.
Air conditioning should be implemented in all school classrooms to ensure that students are able to learn in a comfortable and safe learning environment to reach their full potential in school day to day.
Today we're investigating the lack of air conditioning in public high schools and their effects on students' performance. To kick off this special segment, Francis Schumann is on site in Westfield High School, Oregon, with this year's EPA student winners.
Francis, we're live.
Hello, Emma. Unfortunately, the winners of this year's EPA award are in Washington, D.C. right now, making their remarks to the president about their discoveries towards air conditioning in schools, so they won't be able to join us. But they have briefed me of the basis of their achievements and discovery. The students conducted a series of experiments that found that their peers' test scores tended to suffer when in warmer classrooms without AC, and therefore concluded that schools should maintain room temperature conditions in order to access their students' full testing potential and comfort level.
That all makes sense, but what is considered a warm class that isn't suitable for students to operate fully and functionally in?
Temperatures above 72 degrees Fahrenheit, but temperatures under can often have distracting effects on students as well.
And as you can see from this diagram, that there is a trend that when the temperature of the classroom veered away from room temperature at 72 degrees Fahrenheit, average test scores tended to be lower. This shows that if public schools are aiming for their students to perform to the best of their abilities, then temperature stabilizing installations should be implemented in all schools.
In another publication by NASA, it was found that telegraph key operators showed that in temperatures of 80 degrees Fahrenheit, the operator will make 5 errors an hour and 19 mistakes after 3 hours. At 90 degrees Fahrenheit, the operators made 9 mistakes per hour, 27 after 3 hours. At 95 degrees Fahrenheit, the mistakes went from 60 in 1 hour and 138 in 3 hours. Although errors made by telegraph key operators may not be critical, this same hot environment will produce a proportional amount of errors, regardless of the task. If NASA says it, then it must be true.
Well, yes, NASA is a credible source because of their reputation, but it makes sense if you look at it in retrospect. Imagine being told that you had to take a very hard test on a 100-degree Fahrenheit day. Along with the heat and stress, your chances of failing could increase.
Makes sense.
I mean, at this point, it's crucial to note that an increase in temperature does affect the performance of students. A local news network in LA covered Campbell's High School's overheating issue last year that closely resembled the SMMUSD's issue in October of 2017.
The temperature inside this Campbell High School classroom reached 100 degrees today. The Department of Education says they're looking into solar-powered air conditioning options, but there's no immediate relief in sight for any of these students. Mitchell Kagawa writes, "That's ridiculous. We should turn off the AC in the DOE offices so they can appreciate the nice warm air too." Mary Gerard Anderson asks, how is this even remotely reasonable, and yet we expect these kids and teachers to make specific benchmarks? I am surprised no one has suffered a medical emergency.
But let's just say hypothetically that, I don't know, SMMUSD had issues with their air conditioning, say early October at the same time Santa Ana winds were blowing.
Day 3 of this heat wave, which has already been record-breaking. School nurses say some students have reported having some issues with the heat.
Temperatures are expected to hit triple digits across the Southland, and beach communities won't get much of a break.
And classes started becoming stuffy and uncomfortable. What could happen to a student if they become too hot with stress too?
Well, in short, a stroke.
Holy hell, are my new boxers made of wool? Because my weasel's getting heat stroke.
A scientific article published in 2009 by the Global Health Action Committee came up with a very detailed chart explaining this.
God damn, that's more confusing than my algebra homework.
Yeah, it sure is.
Now wait, what about the cost? I mean, there must be some reason why schools and districts don't all have AC.
I mean, you're right. SMMUSD spent $4.8 million in 2016 on HVAC for Sam High alone.
I mean, from what I've experienced, I guess more or less around 100,000, but 4.8 million? That could buy you like, I don't know, 4.8 million cookies.
Agreed. It's hard to believe that these numbers are real, but public record shows it to be true.
I mean, it's worth it in the end. Money spent on air conditioning, heating, and air filtering would allow for students to perform to the best of their capabilities and therefore improve the overall standing of the school scholastically.
Exactly. Districts can't have a win-win. It's either that they spend money and maintain the good academic standings in their students due to their comfort levels in class, or they save money and see a steady decline in test scores due to their students' unease in classrooms.
So all in all, heat has effects on students' productivity and success and should be addressed by having all school districts implementing air conditioning in schools.
If you have any personal anecdotes or concerns towards air filtering, heating, or air conditioning in your district, you can email the heads of your education. For SMM USD specifically, you can email the director of the board at this email below.